What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel for another Steam Deck video. We're taking a look at the Tekken 8 demo here that has dropped over on Steam, and specifically we're on the Steam Deck OLED here for our performance testing and just taking a look at how the demo's performing kind of quickly here for this video. Now, I didn't have to force any compatibility or anything. Fortunately, at least for the demo, the game was able to just launch and get into the game without any problems and no crashing or workaround. So hopefully when the game actually comes out, that'll still be the case. Now, as far as getting into the game and its performance, let's take a look at the settings we're going to stick with as we get into this. And the game is pretty much a 60 FPS cap. Now we're 800p full screen, no VSync on here on the deck, FSR2 balanced and low for everything else. And there's not a lot to get into. You get one chapter in the story mode, you get a little bit of arcade quest you can do, local or CPU verse, no online or customization or replay right now. So it's only so much we can really jump into, but we'll take a look at some story and some other modes as well. Now, performance here for those low settings and FSR2 on balanced at 800p is going to vary a little bit, especially here in story mode. Now, you saw kind of rough transition as you come in, but once we're fighting, for the most part, we're able to grab that 60 FPS. However, there are a lot of times that it wants to dip below and into the 50s, and sometimes under that. There are definitely some odd transitions when it comes to what's going on here in the demo, coming in and out of cutscenes and stuff, which I'll show you as well. And we'll also take a look at a little bit of performance without FSR on, so you can see that here in the beginning of the story mode as well here. All right, so let's move over here and take a look at the cutscene transitions, which I was talking about. So we get into kind of a messy 30 FPS after that fight at 16:9 ratio here. Then it goes to a 60 FPS here in the cutscene, and then it'll transition to a 16:10 ready for combat or ready for gameplay with some stutter and transition stuff there, and then kind of into 60 FPS until we get going. Not necessarily all bad, and it wasn't a mess on screen here, but it's something that hopefully when the actual game comes out, some of that maybe can kind of get cleaned up for the Steam Deck or the lower end hardware. I did try some higher settings, which really did not bode well for the game trying to reach that 60 FPS point, which you really want here. Let's take a comparison like I was talking about without FSR though. So we have FSR2 on the left, and then just regular TAU over on the right, and you'll see a big difference when it comes to that transition, all the way down to 19 FPS over there without FSR when the GPU is getting hit. And then even in combat, we're not ever able to really get anywhere near that 60 that we're striving for when we're using FSR. So just something I did want to point out when trying to run more of a native or a TAU or something like that there. Now, as far as other modes, I did jump into the arcade mode a little bit, and performance there was very similar, as you'll see here, on a different map, just like over in story mode, where of course it'll go down into the 40s and then bounce back up and oftentimes be in the 50s. At any point during combat, it stays pretty playable, and a lot of times we do hit 60, but we've seen other games like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter 6 and those get patches and fixes that really help their performance some on those, because they also struggled at times. So hopefully Tekken 8, between its full release and patches and things in the future, it will help ensure maybe getting this game up to 60 FPS more often and better transitions. You'll see here on this map though, things held a pretty good 60, but there's a lot less going on screen, so it really depends on how much the CPU and everything is being hit there. But I thought this was a fun, just quick look at the Tekken 8 demo and how it's running here on the Steam Deck, specifically the Steam Deck OLED, and how that was performing. All in all, for a demo, pretty good. Hopefully it will improve and get even better once the game launches, and then once they start getting some patches out. It's still a little bit rough. Fighting games used to just be pretty easy to run, but yeah, with Mortal Kombat 1, Street Fighter 6, and Tekken 8 here, it's not just across the board an easy to run title, especially when striving for 60. Alright guys, thanks a lot for coming to check out the video. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.